Welcome back to JoSmart Tools. Our session today involves us solving two-step equation when variables are on both sides of the equal sign. And if you're ready, let's get started. In our equation today, we are solving a two-step equation with variables on both sides of the equal sign. And unlike the other equations that we have worked out, in this video we're working with both constants and variables on both sides. So we're going to be doing a lot of collecting like terms today. So let's start by collecting the like terms with our variables. So we notice that we have a minus e and a 3e. And remember that whenever you are collecting like terms, we always take the opposite sign when we move that variable or that term to the opposite side of our equal sign. So because our e is being minus here, that means we will add the e on the opposite side of our equal sign. And it's very important to remember that when you work these type of equation, you make sure that you put everything else back that you did not use. So now let's simplify our 3e plus e, which will equal to 4e. And we're putting back our minus 4 equal 8. So now we're going to collect our constants, and we have our 4 being minus, and we have our 8. And for me, usually I always like to move, and you probably would have noticed that a lot in my equations, that I always move the smaller sign or the smaller number or term to the side of the equation where the larger term is. Now, if you're a person who may not be good with working out questions involving negatives, you probably want to also pay attention to whether the sign that you're moving is going to change to a negative or a positive to avoid you having to work with those negative numbers if you're not strong with working out equations with negative numbers. So just keep that in mind also as you work through your questions. So since my 4 is being minus, we're going to add that 4 on the opposite side. So we have our 4e, which we will return to our equation. And we have 8 plus 4, which will equal to 12. Now, I just want to give you a side note. I know I did a lot of working here, and it may have seemed like a lot, but remember that once you get better with your algebra skills, when it comes to collecting your like terms, you'll probably be able to do all of that in one step. But again, that does come with practice, and that does come with you being able to develop your skills so that you can avoid having to do a bunch of unnecessary working. That's one of the bonus of knowing how to apply your rules. So we have 4e, and remember that 4e means that 4 is being multiplied to e. And for when solving one-step equations, when there's multiplication, remember that we're going to divide both sides of the equation by the coefficient that's being multiplied to our variable. So since 4 is being multiplied to e, we're dividing both sides of the equation by 4. So 4 will divide into itself once, which will leave us with just e. And remember that 1e is exactly the same thing as saying e, so we have no need to put the 1. So now we're going to divide 4 by 4, which will equal to 1. And our 12 will also be divided by 4, which will equal to 3. So for this equation, our e is equal to 3. Now let's check our answer. We said that e is equal to 3. So that means that everywhere that e appears in our equation, we are now substituting it with 3. And remember that our goal is to make sure that when we solve or simplify both sides of our equation, that both sides equal to the exact same thing. So we have 3 times 3, which is equal to 9, and 9 minus 4, which will equal to 5. And we also have 8 minus 3, which is equal to 5. So we can see that for this equation, e equals 3 does justify or satisfy our equation. So that means that this answer is correct. So let's try another example. You can feel free at this point to pause the video, solve the equation for yourself, and then when you're ready, you can unpause the video and work along with me to see if both of us got the exact same answer. So again, we're going to begin by collecting our like terms. So in this case, again, I will move the 3r since my 3r is being subtracted, and I don't want to move the 2r over, which will also make me, and I don't want to move the 2r over where I would have a negative 3r minusing a 2r. So to avoid that, I'm instead going to move the 3r over where it will be added. So remember that 3r is being minus here, so we're going to add that on the opposite side of the equation. Now I'm going to put back my minus 7, put back my equal sign, and return my 3 also to the equation. So now let's simplify 2r plus 3r, which will equal to 5r, and we return the 7 and also the 3. So now we're going to collect our like terms, and again, since my 7 is being added here, that means that since my 7 is being subtracted, that means the 7 will be added on the opposite side of the equation. And now let's simplify our equation. So we have 5r equal to 10, and since 5 is the term or the coefficient that is being multiplied to our r, that means that both sides of your equation will be divided by 5. And now we are going to simplify, and 5 divides into 5 will leave us with 1. And since we have 1r left, which is meaning the exact same thing as r, we'll just write our r back. And now we're going to continue with our division, and we'll divide 5 into itself once. 5 will divide into 10 twice, which means that my r for this equation is equal to 2. Okay, so since we said that r is equal to 2, we're now going to perform our check, which means that we are substituting r equals 2 into our equation. So we'll return our 2, replace r with 2, minus 7 equals to 3, minus 3, and we have 2 in parentheses. And remember that our goal is to make sure that both sides of these equations equal to the same thing. So 2 times 2 will give us 4, minus 7, return my 3, and then 3 times 2 is equal to 6. And when 4 minus 7, this will equal to negative 3. And when 3 minus 6, it will equal to negative 3. So again, both sides of our equation equal the same thing. Then that means that r equals 2 is the best solution or the correct solution for this equation. Okay, so I hope this was very easy for you and you were able to follow along. Make sure that you get some practice in, develop your skills, give this video a thumbs up if it was helpful to you, and we will see you in the next video right here on Jules Math Tools, where we make math easy.